Good evening. I was inspired to do this post tonight because I was talking to one of my clients earlier. I think it was that last night? I think it was last night. Anyway, my client who is selling her home, I'm sitting outside. It is so beautiful outside. Let me show you. Hold on. Not like the best view, but it's just so pretty out. It's like the sky is glowing. But anyway, my client last night was asking me again about the closing costs, and in my defense, I had sent them like at least 3 or 4 different closing costs estimates, okay? And in those closing cost estimates for the seller, it's broken down a certain way, right? So, but to refresh her memory, she's like, what about, when is it paid and who takes care of it? And do I pay you at closing or how do I make sure you're paid? And what about my mortgage company? And yes, I'm talking fast, but she's asked me a lot of questions that made me realize, even though I told her what the closing costs were, she obviously, I needed to explain to her, okay, at closing, your mortgage is going to be paid off, your insurance will be canceled, your realtors will be paid, the title company will be paid, any other expenses that you're paying through closing that you need to pay will be paid at closing. So what I mean by that is when you're a seller, and I'm going to be to the point. I'm not going to rabbit trail tonight. I'm going to be very concise. Okay, so when you're selling a home, you will be paying the realtor fees. Why do I get to pay the realtor fees? And that's not fair. And why doesn't the buyer pay the realtor fee? Well, slow down and let me explain to you. When you're a seller, the approach is you are paying your realtor to bring you qualified buyers. Okay, and in that process, your qualified realtor will be advertising to split the commission with another realtor to cooperate with them to bring you a qualified buyer. Okay, so if we bring you the buyer, then we brought you a buyer and we keep the entire commission. Okay, we've done our job, but we are willing to split it with another realtor, usually 50-50, although I've heard some of these realtors are getting kind of tricky, offering 2.5. 2.5 to the buyer's agent, keeping 3.5 for themselves. I'm like, ooh, that seems a little greedy to me. But anyway, that's their business, not mine. So, seller, you will be paying the realtor fees because you are paying a realtor to bring you a qualified buyer. And your realtor will oftentimes, more often than not, pay another realtor to cooperate with them to bring that buyer, a qualified buyer, okay? There are other fees involved in selling a home. You pay a title company. A title company does not represent anybody. A title company, I look at them as kind of like a ref or a secretary or a manager, okay? They keep everything in order, keep you on a timeline, make sure things are kept organized and on track to close, okay? They're not for the buyer, they're not for the seller. Keep everything in order. They will coordinate the mortgage payoff, they will coordinate things with your lender, make sure the lender has everything they need and they have everything they need, the title company needs from the lender, etc., and so on. Okay, they keep the contracts, right? You will have, and in those title company fees, you will also have a lawyer fee that is charged for the lawyers that review documents, and courier fees and recording fees and just a lot of little fees, but it's not crazy expensive, maybe $500-600 total for title stuff. But then as a seller though, you have to be aware that if you don't know your house well and you don't know what's up with your house, and you might have fees that you weren't aware of. And that's why I always encourage sellers, hey, you know what, spend the money, get some inspections, do a plumbing inspection, do a home inspection, because then you just take care of the things that you know you have to take care of. Okay, or if you know there's nothing big and you're overly confident, then fine, you just discover what's up with your house after the inspection and you deal with it however you choose. Okay, so those costs might come in, right? Oh, when there's paint on the fascia peeling off, FHA, VA, will make you paint it. Even now, I've had conventional lenders say, no, we want you to paint that fascia or that siding. Or back in the day, they would let you close without painting. Okay, so you need to be aware that as a seller, you're going to have various fees. You might want to have the house professionally cleaned or the carpets professionally cleaned. A courier fee. What if you're out of town? We need to pay for a notary to get to you, $150. Okay, so those are seller fees. Buyer's fees, right? Most of the buyer's fees, well, the buyers have to get the mortgage, right? So they have to get a loan. Have to fill out their application. That doesn't cost anything. But then they have to usually right out of pocket, they have to come up with their earnest money, right? That earnest money is not a fee or a cost, but it's cash they put in the title company. I usually don't go less than $1,000, but if it's like $80,000, $50,000 property, I might do 500. But anyway, but that money, that earnest money, is money going towards closing, whether it's closing costs or the money you're putting down. Okay, so you need earnest money up front right away when you write an offer, because you're going to have to put it with the title company. They cash it and they hold on to it till closing, and you can decide where it's going to be used at closing. Okay, you have a $100, usually about $100 option fee. That's cashed right away, and that goes to the seller. If you close the deal, that money can come back to you. Okay, if you cancel the deal, that money's gone, $100. Okay, then you are out of your own pocket going to pay for your home inspection, and on average I would say $300. You got a house that's smaller, they might cut you a little deal, and if it's bigger, it's going to be more expensive for sure. Okay, you're going to have to pay for your termite inspector. I've seen some that are 65 and some, 85, 90. Plumbers, usually between 80, 85 and 115. Okay, and that's straight up out of pocket, bye-bye. Okay, and then as a buyer, you also have closing costs. People say, why are my closing costs so high? And a lot of times the buyer will ask the seller for closing costs. And the seller's like, why do I need to pay their closing costs? And I explain to them, so it's not that they don't have cash. When you buy a house, you've got to put usually 3.5% down minimum. Right now we have 3% down payment programs, but you need at least 3%, 3.5% to put down, right? So let's say you got a $100,000 property. Okay, that's only $3,500, but for a lot of people, that's a lot of money. You got a $200,000 house, you got $7,500 plus. Then you have to pay taxes, 3 months of taxes usually in advance, and you have to pay 1 year of insurance in advance. And here in Corpus, as you know, we have our windstorm insurance, and we have our homeowners insurance, and sometimes we have flood insurance. So that can be a high ticket. Make sure you shop around with make sure you shop around with insurance companies, because I had an older gentleman, he tells me, oh, what are my closing costs? I said, well, I don't know. You have to get that from your lender. So the lender sends him over his closing statement from the lender. And I look at it, I go, oh my goodness. I said, what is this insurance? It's like $3,500 in Cal Allen for your homeowners and your windstorm. He goes, is that high? And I said, yeah, about at least $1,000 to $1,000+ too high, in my opinion, but who am I? So I had him call a couple other insurance companies. Sure enough, you got it's 4-sided brick, newer home, good roof, $1,600. And then he called the insurance company that was charging him $3,500. And he told him, oh, well, sorry, I got a better, I got this other insurance company. And by the way, it was a reputable insurance company. It's not some fly-by-night insurance company that he got the better deal with. Okay, it's a reputable, long-standing insurance company. And they're like, well, we'll do it for $2,000. Like, what? Why didn't you tell him that? Crooked. Anyway, no names being dropped, but protect yourself, protect your clients. When we tell you to check into other insurance companies and check with other lenders, it's not because we get kickbacks. It's not because, hey buddy, do me a favor. It's because we're trying to protect you, and we're trying to figure out which lender is going to offer you the best loan, and we're trying to figure out which insurance company is going to offer you the best policy. We don't know. Okay, so with that being said, as a buyer, you have all those upfront costs: home inspection, option fee, okay, plumbing, termite, foundation is often free, okay, depending who you use. Make sure you use a reputable one. Okay, electricians will oftentimes come out to take a quick look, but you oftentimes pay a trip charge. If you have some electrical issues that you're concerned about after the home inspection, or even before you have a home inspection, you might have to pay a trip charge of $65 to $85 for an electrician. Roofers are pretty good. Plumbers, once again, they'll charge you for a trip charge. HVAC people, they'll charge you to drive out there, $65 to $85. So anyway, buyers and sellers each have their own costs, and it's not that, sometimes one or the other thinks it's kind of unfair or this or that, but it's just more about understanding the process, and it's getting dark, isn't it? The different roles and the different things each side is going through. Okay, as a seller also, sometimes you're like, man, I need a new roof and I can't afford a new roof. Okay, that's a cost I don't know what to do. And I tell them, let's price the home to account for the roof. Okay, now if the house isn't going to be worth it with the roof, I don't know what to say, but I said, you know, price the house to accommodate a new roof, and just put in the notes, hey, you know, we don't have a roof on there now, but we'll do it before closing once you have final approval. So anyway, these are a lot of things to think about, but I think I've had a lot of people say, why they didn't explain that to me before we closed, and you didn't tell me that. Not thank God my people didn't say that to me, but I've heard people say, well, they didn't tell me that, or they didn't tell me that, and I'm thinking, huh, okay, so now you heard what's up. Now I'm gonna drink my vanilla chamomile relaxing sleepy time tea, and it's getting really dark so you guys can't see me. Okay, sweet dreams, God bless, bye.